Welcome into Hockey Sense, everybody. How we doing today? I'm Andy Strickland. It's game day. The Lightning are here. They've won 11 in a row. We'll see how that goes tonight. They don't have Braden Point. They've been without Victor Hedman, so perfect time for the Blues to end this 11-game winning streak, especially after coming off of their best game of the season, a big 3-0 victory over the Carolina Hurricanes. Joel Hofer was absolutely incredible. They got the shorthanded goal from Nick Bukestad, the power play goal from Jimmy Snuggerud, just an absolute snipe. And then Dalibor Dvorsky, I mean, he gets a goal too, his 7th goal of the season. So just a lot of great things took place in the game, and they're getting great goaltending, great saves from Joel Hofer. We'll see if that continues. No Robert Thomas tonight. I do think that Philip Broberg's going to play. He practiced yesterday, and based on the way that he looked and felt after practice, I would be surprised if he didn't go, but I guess we'll get some official word on that later on today, and by the time you're watching this show, you will know if he's going to be in the lineup tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. John Cooper in the house. Looking forward to it here tonight here in St. Louis. So much to get into. Listen, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. I know I typically I get into a lot of different things with the Blues. You can talk trade deadline and all this type of stuff, and we'll see what happens as we get closer, obviously, to the deadline. A lot of rumors swirling. I mean, you get some people that just throw out every name in the National Hockey League. If there's a player who's on an expiring contract, they just throw out that player's name as a guy who is a potential move at the trade deadline. But I get into a lot of different things with Jamal Mayers, that we talk a lot of Blues today. We kind of get into some other stuff around the NHL, but then we go heavy Blues with Jammer. So I don't want to repeat a lot of the same things that we get into with Jamal coming up later in the show on this edition of Hockey Sense. So stick around, watch Jamal, obviously watch Otto Stenberg too, who's on this edition of Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. Great conversation with Otto, man. Love talking to this kid. He's got a bright upside. He's part of a great hockey family. Very interesting in terms of how he grew up playing in Sweden, and I think you'll enjoy that conversation. Skip a pay. First Community understands that especially this time of year, man, you're coming off the holidays, whatever it is, personal property taxes, you're stretched thin. So they offer that Skip a Pay program to members in good standing, which allow you to skip your monthly loan payment on any eligible loan when certain conditions are met. So you can set up your Skip a Pay yourself online. You can do it in the online banking at First Community or in the mobile app. So you have options to do that. First Community brings us Hockey Sense, and they also brought us the St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame. Big shout out to Trevor Nickerson and Mike Caruso and everybody else, Randy Gersh, Chris Pinkert, everybody who kind of put that event on. It's just an incredible event. We had a great time at the event, great time after the event, and it's good to see so many former Blues come back and support that event each and every year. And it's great to see all the current Blues who were there and get to hear the stories and maybe just get energized and re-energized and get an idea of how much what they do means to so many different people and what those who paved the way for them throughout the history of this organization, what it means, and how it's their responsibility to continue that tradition and pave the way for the next generation of Blues players that are going to eventually be here. So I just thought it was a great night all around. I'm so glad the Blues do this and have decided to do a Hall of Fame for their organization, because it's a lot of fun, and there's no reason that it won't be a lot of fun moving forward. So again, great night all around. Love seeing Kelly Chase get that Blue Note, the True Blue Award, celebrate the career of Barrett Jackman, celebrate the career of Alexander Steen, who is working extremely hard right now and trying to set this team up to be successful moving forward. Al Arbor, obviously, who had a lot of success here and moved on to have great success and greater success with the New York Islanders, but to have his family there, and it was just a lot of fun. I mean, you got Red Berenson, who's in the house, and Gary Younger, all these old timers who come back. It's always great to see. And Dougie Waite was in town. TJ Oshie was here. Oshie, by the way, I got to give Oshie a shout out. This guy is a natural when it comes to television. The hardest thing for a lot of these guys is the prep. I talked to Oshie about that. I mean, nobody loves watching hockey. I think when you've done this all the time, and some guys love it. I love it. I could watch hockey all day long, but for some of these players, I mean, not everybody grew up watching hockey all the time, or they didn't watch a ton of hockey while they were playing. And now they have to watch a lot of hockey to make sure they're prepared when they go on and do these games. I think that's the biggest adjustment, I think, for and challenge for some of these former players. But TJ Oshie's got a great career if he wants one in television. And it's good to see him here in St. Louis and get recognized by the home fans because they hadn't had a chance to do that because of his injury to his back that led to his retirement. And obviously he hasn't played since, and he won't ever play again. But now he's got a great thing going with ESPN. So big shout out to TJ Oshie for sure. Blue Note Roofing, 314-920-5713. Give him a call today. David Novak. Gutters, soffit, fascia, siding, whatever it is. This guy's the best in town. 314-920-5713. Get that free estimate today. They work with all the major insurance companies. He loves hockey. He'll talk pucks with you all day long. 314-920-5713. You know he'll be at the Enterprise Center tonight to watch the Blues take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we love having Blue Note Roofing with us on Hockey Sense each and every week. Just like we do with our friends over there at Dirt Cheap Fun Fun, your one-stop party shop. Cheap, cheap, fun, fun. I mean, listen, if you're listening to this show right now or watching it, chances are you're within the radius of a Dirt Cheap location to get that free delivery. If you live within 10 miles of a Dirt Cheap location, you can have your products and everything you buy delivered to your house for free. How nice is that? You don't have to leave your house. Download the app, get all the information there. You can do your shopping from the app. They've got great deals on the app. So good they call them steals. So check that out. Dirt Cheap. Download the app today. Make sure you have it. Cheap, cheap, fun, fun. Your one-stop party shop, baby. Love having Dirt Cheap with us here on Hockey Sense. They just do an unbelievable job here in St. Louis, and big supporters of hockey and big supporters of sports in general here in St. Louis. We love our friends over there at Dirt Cheap. Lordo's Diamonds. Get that special someone, something special in your life. If you're looking to pop the question, get that engagement ring at Lordo's Diamonds. 314-432-8008. Right there in the heart of Ladue. Can't miss it. Mike and Jimmy Lordo. They've been serving St. Louis for almost 70 years. Can you believe that? Pat, everybody that's over there, the best customer service. You can go in there with a $100,000 budget or a $100 budget. They're going to treat you exactly the same. I can promise you that. Dirt Cheap. Or excuse me, Lordo's Diamonds. I always want to talk Dirt Cheap too. All right, so let's not get into too much. Let's not hesitate. Let's not delay. Let's get to Otto Stenberg. We'll talk with Otto, then Jamal Mayers. Hardcore Blues Talk with Jamal Mayers coming up. All on this edition of Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. I'm Andy Strickland. Thanks for hanging out. All right, let's bring in Otto Stenberg. First off, I love the names in the Stenberg family because you got Otto, you got Ivar, and you got Newt, man. Those are some great Swedish names right there. Is there anybody else in the family named Otto? Is this a family name, or just are you the only one?
I think I'm the only one. I'm the only one that I know, so yeah.
So you were a first-round pick. Ivar's going to be a high pick. What was life like growing up in the Stenberg household? I mean, was it all about hockey? Were your parents like what we see here in the States with these hockey parents? You know, they're traveling around. They're going from, one tournament to the next, practice every single night, getting you to the rink all the time for skill skates and skating lessons and all that type of stuff. I mean, is that how it was in your house growing up?
Yeah, I would say so. It was a lot of hockey, and we played like a lot of different sports growing up. So, but yeah, most of the time it was hockey and like street hockey and whatever. So, yeah, but we played some soccer and a lot of golf too. So, yeah, it was a lot of like late nights practice, and yeah, they drove us everywhere. So, yeah.
Soccer. So that was the other sport you played, soccer and golf?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ivar, man, how many years younger is he than you? He's a couple years younger, right? 3 or 4 years? What is he?
Yeah, he's two years younger than me, but he's born late, so he's like draft year 1 year later than the
Okay.
other.
Was there
There's
always
a
like
lot.
competition in the house between the two of you? Would you guys play street hockey together? I would imagine you guys never played on the same team together, so just because of the age difference. But how much competition was there amongst the three brothers, Newt included?
Yeah, it was a lot of competition. Me and he are actually played together when we were younger, and we had some games in Frölunda in like the junior program together too. So, Uh, yeah, we had some games together, but yeah, it was a lot of competition, and we played a lot against each other growing up. So um, it was often me against my two brothers. So yeah, it was a lot of battles, and yeah, a lot of fun too.
All right, so when you see the Kachucks and you see the Hughes brothers and obviously even Braden Shen, his brother Luke is still playing in the National Hockey League. I mean, you can relate to these guys, right? What would it be like to or mean to your parents and to you guys for your brother and maybe even both your brothers to one day play in the NHL with you? Maybe not on the same team, but at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that would be um, really cool to play in the best league in the world against your brother. That would be super special. And I mean, all of us have always dreamed about playing in NHL someday, and yeah, that would be super special to play against each other or maybe together. I don't know.
All right. So when you're growing up in Sweden, is that the dream for Swedish hockey players to play in the NHL? Like when do you start thinking about the NHL and following the league?
Yeah, I would say so. Maybe started to dream about playing in the SHL in the highest Swedish league maybe. But when you like get a little bit older and get to know NHL more and more, that's always been the dream to to play in NHL. First of all, maybe playing in our hometown for London, and then playing in NHL after that. So yeah, I would say that's almost always been the dream. So
Are you growing up watching NHL hockey? Like, are games on? Because the time difference, I would imagine, it makes it difficult to watch games. How often would you guys sit around and watch an NHL game?
uh not super much. Always been watching highlights and stuff, but some early games when they were sent to the Swedish TV was like the highlight of the month, like to be able to watch the like NHL games in good Swedish time. So um but other from that we just always watch highlights and like highlight some different players and stuff. So we've always been watching NHL and follow NHL.
Yeah, we've had some great Swedes who have come through St. Louis. Jorgen Pettersson comes to mind. I mean, obviously, Alexander Steen, who you've gotten to know, and Sundqvist and Patrick Berglund. I mean, I can go Carl Gunnarsson. I mean, there's been so many great Swedes who have come through the St. Louis Blues. Who was your favorite player growing up? Like, who do you? I don't want to say who you model your game after. You can throw that in and let us know if there's a guy that you model your game after. But who was your favorite player growing up?
Uh, it was there. One of my favorite players been Gabriel Landeskog. It's love the way that he's playing and two-way player and can can play in like all over the ice and different situations. And when I got a little bit older, it was fun to follow the young Swedish players in NHL like Raymond and Dahlin and some guys who took that step that I wanted to do. So yeah, I would say that.
What's compare the Swedish Hockey League to the American Hockey League? Are they similar, or is the American Hockey League a tougher, better league than even the Swedish league?
Uh, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's so different because like the bigger ice in Sweden makes it so much different. So I would say maybe Swedish league is a little bit more puck possession and like structured and like all the teams are so good defensively. So there's not not that much goals and like the odd man rushes and stuff are like maybe two or three a game. And AHL is a little bit more back and forth and the ice is smaller, so everything is closer to the net. And so I would say it's still a lot different from the AHL to the SHL.
Do you like the bigger ice or the smaller ice?
Uh, I like the smaller ice. I would say.
Why is that?
I don't know. It feels like everything is closer and and maybe like if you like forecheck and stuff, it's so hard to forecheck on the big guys because yeah, the Ds have more space and uh, maybe like easier to win back pucks and yeah, you're always close to the net and I would say the game is faster too. So yeah, that's fun.
All right, so you're a first round draft pick, and usually when you're drafted in the first round, it's because of especially as a forward, right? People notice your offensive ability, your skating, your ability to score and make plays. So that's always been a big part of your game coming up. And we're seeing in the NHL your two-way game and how smart you are defensively. You can kill penalties. The coach obviously has a lot of trust in your game. So have you had to adjust since coming to the NHL, or is that the way you've always played? Like how we see you play now is no different than how you've always played.
I think that's how I play like the last couple of years since I like took the step from the junior league in Sweden to the SHL league. Uh, so yeah, since that, I would say that's the way I've played, and maybe when I play in like World Juniors and like when I you know put up some points and score some goals, maybe you don't think about like that part of my game that much. But yeah, I would say if I not score, I can always bring something and uh, yeah, play good defensively, and that's something I yeah just wanna always do.
Are you surprised with how well you've adjusted to the NHL, or did you feel like when you left training camp and the preseason to go down to the American League that you were pretty close, that you're not that far away from becoming a full-time NHLer?
Uh, yeah, maybe a little bit. I'd say I felt good on the on training camp, and yeah, I think it had a good camp. Uh, but like when I got called up, I had no idea how the NHL game was and how fast they were, and so I didn't really know what to expect. But yeah, it's been felt good so far. So uh, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
All right, so what's been the best moment for you? Like in terms of players you played against, where you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm playing against this guy. I'm on the ice with this guy. You mentioned Landeskog, so I would imagine that was a big thrill. McKinnon, McCarr, and those guys. But
Yeah.
give me the best moment for you in terms of being able to be on the ice with some NHL superstars.
Yeah, obviously playing against Colorado was pretty cool. I asked Shanner the day before if he could fix a stick from Landeskog, so I got a stick from him. So that was pretty special. And maybe my second game we played Rangers at home. Sibani had skated up to me. I was like, "Yeah, welcome to the league." So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Mika Zibanejad said that to you. He said, "Welcome to
Yeah,
the NHL." Did Landeskog say
yeah.
anything to you on the ice against Colorado?
Yeah, he was just staying high, and he asked about the World Juniors. Asked if yeah, Ira was my brother. So yeah,
That's awesome. And you guys were getting
yeah,
killed that game. So it's like,
uh,
yeah. But yeah, hey, listen, man. I mean, that's what it's all about. I've talked to so many guys who, their first game against Ovechkin or Crosby or McDavid is, Patrick Kane. It's the same type of thing. That's what makes it so cool to play against those guys and to be in the National Hockey League. So why Landeskog, man? He's got an amazing story. He's been a great player. He's a great leader. Came over and played junior here in North America in the Ontario Hockey League. So
yeah.
why is he a guy that's always been your favorite?
I mean, I remember he had some good like world championships in Sweden when I were younger. Then I just like his a two-way game, and like I think I can take a lot from his game to put in my game, and um, yeah, he's a leader and can play all over the ice and yeah, score goals and yeah,
So it was that.
fights and stuff. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
So it was that game in Colorado when Shen went and got a stick for you, or was it after that?
yeah, I asked Shanner the day before,
Oh.
uh, and he was like, yeah, I know Gabe, so I can just ask him. So I got a stick, so it was pretty cool.
How's Shenner as a captain and as a team? I saw you guys talking on the ice before some of the drills and stuff. If you have questions, he's a good guy to bounce questions off of. If you're not exactly sure what to do with some of these drills, they can be a little bit different for you and maybe a little complicated. So how's he been helping you transition and adjust to life in St. Louis?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. Like starting in training camp, he texted us like the day before we came there and just ask how we were doing and where we get in and stuff. And so it's just, and when I get called up, it's been, so good. We played in played in the same line the first couple games, and yeah, just helped me a lot. And yeah, he talks a lot. I think it's so good to everybody in the locker room, and especially us young guys who, uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure he helps Devo and Snuggy and all the young guys too. So yeah, he's great. He's a great captain.
He hasn't asked you to move into his house yet?
No, no,
He's
no. I'm good here at the hotel, so it works pretty good.
he's got the baby, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
so you're at the hotel. So the team hasn't said, "Hey, go get a place." Nothing like that yet, right?
No, not yet.
Okay. Um Dvorsky, listen, I remember being at the draft when you guys were drafted, and I interviewed you at the draft. Dalibor, Lindstein. I mean, I talked to all three of you guys at the draft that year, and a bunch of other guys that were drafted that year too. But you and Dvorsky, you guys go way back, don't you? Like you've known each other for quite some time, right?
Yeah, for I don't know, almost 10 years, or even more. He played in Sweden, and when he was younger, and we had some. Yeah, maybe we played like 3 or 4 tournaments together, like select tournaments. And he played for the Swedish team then. So yeah, we played together. Yeah, 3 or 4 tournaments before. So and then he started learning Swedish. So we have been close since that.
I know, man. I remember when you were drafted, he couldn't believe it. I was
Yeah,
right next to him. He's like, "Wow, we got Otto Stenberg." He's like, he's a good friend of mine." I'm like, "Aren't you from
yeah,
Slovakia?" But he, like you said, he went over and played in Sweden, which isn't all
yeah.
that uncommon, right? You'll see some Czech players and Slovaks. They come over in Sweden and play, right, to play against better competition.
Yeah, I think the Swedish like junior programs they're pretty good. Like the U18 and U20 leagues are pretty good. So yeah, there's a lot of like guys from different countries coming to Sweden and playing like going to high school house school programs and playing the junior teams. So yeah.
Hey, when you're growing up in Sweden, like how often are you on the ice? Are you on the ice 5 days a week, 6 days a week, every day? How often are you guys practicing and skating? Because your skating is unbelievable, all you guys.
Uh yeah, I would say if you're not playing the game, maybe almost every day. Uh, so like I grew up in a smaller town, and like uh our like team wasn't that big, so you could practice with a lot of different age groups, and yeah, we had a lot of like ice times and free ice and stuff. So yeah, we skated a lot, and yeah, just played a lot of small games, and uh yeah, a lot of different things.
You just walk to the rink or you have to drive there.
No, I had to drive there, so it was like 10 minutes drive. So,
They have a lot of outdoor rinks in Sweden. Like, is it cold enough to where like the ponds and lakes they freeze over?
yeah, from where I'm from, and like the southern part of Sweden, it's depends. Like some when we were younger, it was way colder than what it is now. So when we were younger, we always like had a rink on our like backyard. My mom and dad like put water in the backyard, and so we could skate there. So that was great. And but like the last couple of years haven't been that cold, but I think it's pretty cold right now in Sweden, so I think they can skate now.
Hasn't been cold here. Like you must be like, damn.
No.
St. Louis is
Yeah.
warm in the winter.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I know. It's been crazy, man. Um,
Yeah.
why? How come you guys all skate so well? I asked you this the other day in the locker room. We were talking about it maybe a week ago or so, but you can tell our audience, like all you Swedes, man. I'm watching the World Juniors. They're all like flying around. Everybody can skate. What's in the what's the magic sauce that you guys have in Sweden that allows you guys to skate so well?
I don't know, to be honest, but like my team when I grew up, we always like started the practice, like warm up in the practice with some like technique and some like inside outside edges, and we did that like from when we were like 6 years old to we was 15. So yeah, I would say maybe that to start the practice with some yes technique skating. Uh, Maybe it comes from that.
Okay, I guess so, man. Well, whatever you guys are doing,
Yeah.
it worked. How old were you when you first started playing hockey?
Uh, Maybe around 5, 6. Uh, like actually start playing with the team. Maybe
Yeah.
skate first time when I was like around 3, 4, maybe.
Okay. Who's Sweden's biggest rival outside of Finland? I know Finland's the biggest rival. Is it Canada? Is it
Yeah.
U.S.? Is it Russia? What is it? Czech?
Um, I don't know. Like my age group, we have played a lot of like tough games against the USA. So I would maybe say that we played like four finals against USA. So I would say US.
And who won all those? I know USA won the U20.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that in the
Yeah.
U18s or 17s?
Yeah, we got one in the first year in the U18.
Okay.
So I yeah, one.
When I think about USA and Sweden, it's, for you, it's when you played Snuggerud and there's like a brawl at the end of the game. Who
Yeah.
started that, Otto? Who's responsible for that?
I don't know, to be honest. I was just sitting on a bench and was mad, so I don't really know, but maybe some of our guys. But I don't really remember, but I think so. I think Sluggy was in there too.
Okay. Yeah, he was in there. I remember him being in there.
Yeah.
You guys talk about
Yeah.
that game at all or no? Or does he leave that alone?
Uh, no, we just like when when they played World Juniors here, maybe yeah, we talked about it a little bit. It's just more like they had a great team. Like if you looked at our team now, it's a lot of NHL players. So uh, yeah, they I just told them that they had a great team. So
Yeah, they
yeah,
did, man. That was a great team. You guys had a great team too. What's it like
yeah,
having Snuggerud here, Dvorsky? You've got some young guys to hang out with, right? I mean, that's kind of nice, isn't it? Berggren.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun. And to have some young guys in your age group. So maybe talk the same way. We don't have any kids and stuff. So uh, yeah, it's nice and Dvorsky and Berger and talking Swedish too. So yeah, that's just a lot of fun.
I know. I hear Dvorsky talking Swedish all the time. I'm like, how many languages do you speak? How's his Swedish?
It's pretty good. It's actually really, really good. He sounds like a Swede, so yeah, it's really good.
How come you speak so? Your English is so good. Like when do you? All the Swedes speak great. Landeskog, he sounds like he's from like Texas or something. Like he's not even from
Yeah, I know.
Sweden. How come
Yeah.
some of these guys have this perfect English? Why is that from Sweden?
I don't know. I think we start learning English in school pretty early. It's like Swedish, English, and math that we like. It's our like biggest subjects. So uh, yeah, I guess it comes from that. And yeah, I think like my English is way better now. Since I like came my first day in Springfield like 1 year ago. So yeah, it's easy to learn when you like hear that like when people talk English like all the time and you need to learn. So yeah, just getting better, I think.
I know. You guys always say, "Well, we learned it in school." You could teach me Swedish in school every day. I would never even be able to figure it out. So I give you guys
Yeah.
credit. You know,
Yeah, but we had like Spanish and stuff in school, and I can't speak Spanish at all. So
You can't?
I think so you come from like a lot of movies and like watching NHL and whatever. Like
Yeah.
I think you learns a lot from that.
From watching NHL. I love it. I love it. That's how you learn.
Yeah.
You know, my mom is
Yeah.
Swedish. My mom was born in, she lived in Falun, Sweden. You know where Falun is? That close to
Oh
you?
yeah.
Is that close to you?
No, it's not close to me, but it's close to where Tio is from,
Oh,
Linsting.
okay.
So, but it's not that close from me now.
Give us the scouting report before we let you go on Tio. How good is he?
Yeah, I mean he's pretty good. He's a really good skater, and yeah, he plays good all over the ice. Great passes, and uh, yeah, as I said, really good skater, and that yeah, then it's hard to play against him because he's so good at skating, and yeah, good passes, and yeah, good offensive demon, and he's getting better and better in decent too. So yeah, it's gonna be good.
What's it been like being like on the road with all the guys? I mean, the veteran guys been good with you too? Like, do they take you out to dinner and hang out with you? Like, who's taking you under their wing, Otto?
Uh, yeah, it's been great. I've been with Sonny and Broby and like the Swedes and most of the time. So yeah, I'm just following Broby and Sonny and all those guys.
How good is Broby?
Yeah, he's really good. I got some like when he got yeah selected to the Olympic team, it was like some guys like how good is he, and I was like yeah he's I didn't know that before like actually came here and saw him play.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but he's unreal. He's really good, and yeah, he's gonna do great for Sweden in the Olympics, and good for St. Louis that he's here for 6 more years.
Yeah, I know. And he wasn't that far off from making the Four Nations team too. You know, I mean, I know he was on the
No,
radar there. So
yeah,
he's such a good player, man. All
yeah,
right, who do you look forward? You're going to play against McDavid coming up, so that's going to be exciting. Like, who are you
yeah.
excited about being on the ice with and competing against? You know, just to see them up close and go toe to toe with them. Who are you excited to play against?
Yeah, obviously McDavid is pretty cool. But yeah, I have to say Pittsburgh with Crosby, and I loved Eric Carlson when I was younger. So uh, yeah, it's gonna be cool. Like to play against Crosby and Eric Carlson. That would be pretty crazy.
We've already been to Pittsburgh. When's Pittsburgh coming here? Have they been here yet? No, I'm trying to remember. They haven't been here yet, have they?
Uh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, see, I love the fact that you don't know. See, that's good. You just
Oh,
focus on
yeah,
the next game, man. You got Tampa
yeah,
State coming up Friday night. That's the next game, and you're gonna play against
yep.
Kucherov, and Braden Point's hurt right now. But Hedman, right? You a big Hedman fan?
Yeah, I think he's hurt too.
Yeah, he.
Her is out for, but yeah, obviously he's that would be cool to play against Hedman. He's a yeah
Yeah,
great Swedish player. So yeah,
I know, man. All right. Hey, listen, you keep doing what you're doing. You got off to
yeah.
a great start, in terms of what
Thank
you've
you.
been able to do. And like, what's Monty telling you? Like when he's pulling you aside and talking to you, he told me earlier that he talked to you on the ice today. Were you guys talking this morning and during practice and whatever? Like, how good has Monty been for you so far, and Otter, and the rest of the coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, all of them have been great. Yeah, they've talked to me a lot and show me some like video clips from the games and like small adjustments that I can do better or just to keep doing. So yeah, they've been really good and yeah, they helped me a lot. So yeah.
Okay, you look good in those flylight skates too, man. You got the white skates
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, I got new one today, black ones though. So
Oh, you did? You got the new black ones?
yeah,
My kid
yeah.
wears the
So
white ones too. They don't his foot. They're
yeah,
not big enough for him to get the custom ones. He wanted the blue ones. I'm
uh,
like, I think
yeah,
Shen maybe has the blue ones, doesn't he?
yeah. They looks good. So, but I got the black ones today, so I'll see if I'm gonna use them tomorrow or not.
Did you use them in practice today or no?
No, I just baked them after practice, so maybe morning skate and see how they feel.
Will you wear them out of the box, like without having a couple of practices? No problem.
Yeah, I'll just have to bake them before,
Yeah.
and then I have no problem with using them.
Okay. What flex do you use?
I have 80 flex right now.
Okay. And then what's your pattern? Your curve?
I have a P90 TM.
Oh, the TM,
So
the P90. So
yeah,
you don't go P92?
no, I had it when I was younger. I was like always switching between P92 and P28.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and P90 TM is found it a little bit like between. So
Okay.
yeah, that's perfect.
I won't let my kid use the P28 because he shoots it like 10 feet over the net every time, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he's like, well, let me use the P28. I'm like, well, you start hitting the net, you can use the P28. So
yeah. That sounds good.
yeah, all the best, man. Hey, thanks for doing
Yeah,
this. I know you
of
had
course.
practice today and a big game
Yeah, of
tomorrow, but
course. No problem.
Blues fans are excited about your future and everything you've done so far.
Yeah,
So keep it going, Otto. Appreciate it, man.
yeah,
We'll see you at the rink tomorrow morning, okay?
yeah. See you. No problem. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thanks. You too.
All right, so that's Otto Stenberg. Great stuff with him, man. Great kid. Lots of upside. He's got so much potential, and I mean, you got to be happy with what you've seen so far. Normally, the younger players don't naturally navigate towards the defensive side of the game the way that he does, but don't discount his ability to play offensively too. He's made some great plays, had some been a part of some real nice playmaking that have led to some goals, and you're going to see this guy put up more and more points and start scoring more goals as well. So you just know he's got it in him. We've seen it prior to coming to the NHL, and the more comfortable he gets, the more he's going to produce. So it's been a lot of fun watching Otto Stenberg, huge piece of this organization moving forward. So you got to love that. We'll take a break. We'll come back with much, much more. Close things out on this edition of Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. Thanks for hanging out. Welcome back in, Jamal Mayers. You got the maroon sweater going today. You look like you're headed somewhere. What are you going on today, Jammer?
Oh, I'm heading back to St. Louis. We've got the St. Joseph's Academy father-daughter dance. It's my final one with Harper, so looking forward to that.
What happens at the father-daughter dance?
All the dads have to wear tuxes if your daughter's a senior, and then I think there's some kind of dance, and I was out of town for the rehearsal, so I'll be winging it in the background. But yeah, it's a fun night. Looking forward to it.
You don't need rehearsal. You've done this before, right?
I have done this before, so I didn't know the dance the last time, so why would I change things?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What's the last game you saw? What were you watching?
Oh, last night I was doing the game for the Sharks. A big win. Really, this is a team that has really surprised a lot of people, and to go into Washington last night and have an amazing second period, a great effort by Nedeljkovic and that. They're just proving that they're legit.
Yeah. Are they legit? Can we officially say that?
They are. The reason why I say that is because they're not surprising any teams. Teams are well aware that how well Macklin Celebrini is playing, but the whole team, in fact, and so you're not surprising teams. And now that you're not surprising them, you're still playing a very structured brand of hockey. They play an up-tempo, forechecking style, and they enjoy each other. You can tell that they enjoy each other's company and have fun together, and they're finding different ways to win, even games they don't deserve to win.
Okay, so legit, but they're sitting in the last wild card spot, right? So they're way ahead of where people projected them to be coming into the season. If they don't make the playoffs, then moving forward, would that be a major disappointment?
No.
Okay.
I think they've overachieved. I would argue, and I will say this, I've said it for about a month now, that Macklin Celebrini is likely a finalist for the Hart, but I think if you define the Hart the way I believe it should be defined, I think he's the front runner. If they make the playoffs, I think he's the Hart Trophy winner.
Yeah, he's got to be up there for sure.
So pretty amazing for a 19-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, you could give it to Connor McDavid every year. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not an award for the best player, right?
Yeah, but like you take him away from Edmonton. I mean, like, what are they? You know what I mean? Like,
All this stuff, Draisaitl. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. And McKinnon the same thing, and they still have Makar. It's like all these guys. There's a separate category for all of these guys, and Celebrini's played his way into there. I give him credit, man. I can't wait to see this guy play in the Olympics.
yeah, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. Like people are, you know, most people agree that he should be on the team. I think it's a certainty that he'll be in the top 6.
Mhm.
I mean, he's going to play the wing. He'll be able to play the wing with top players. I think they're going to want to play with him for how responsible and how hard he is and how skilled he is. So,
Yeah.
Whether he starts in the bottom 6, I think by the middle of the tournament he'll have worked his way up.
Yeah, it kills me because beginning of the year, or not beginning of the year, but when they were starting, when he was really playing his way onto the Olympic radar, and a lot of the analysts were like, "Well, he can play a bottom 6 role. That's why he gets the advantage over some of these other guys because he can give you, solid minutes in a bottom 6 role." But the reality is, no, he's going to be in a top 6 role, and he's played his way there too. So, and I think going to the World Championships and having been around Sydney and McKinnon, knowing him, it's like these guys understand how good he is, and they'll be pushing him for that. And John Cooper's no dummy either. So
I think you got it right there. I think it's really interesting how these young guys come in with so much confidence. I mean, he's a humble kid, but there's a tremendous amount of confidence. I think you're right. I think the summer's experience, I think he'll look back and say that was the biggest difference for me, to be surrounded by and find out that he's right there with them in regard to their skill and their mindset and the way they approach the game.
yeah. Will he be the next captain of San Jose? Like, when are they going to name him captain?
I would expect it'll be this summer.
I feel like we've been down this road before with San Jose. Didn't they wait for a while to give it to Logan Couture years ago? Wasn't he the next one?
Well, that was probably a little bit more tricky. I think you had to technically take it away from Jumbo to make that happen. So that probably created a unique dynamic in that respect. They've had some interesting transitions in their history from Marlowe to Jumbo to Tav. It's kind of been a little bit wonky.
Saw an unbelievable game last night with Vegas and Toronto, and just an incredible comeback for Vegas. A lot of hype with Mitch Marner playing against the Maple Leafs. Vegas is so good, though, man. I mean, their puck possession and their poise and composure in the last 30 seconds of the game was absolutely incredible. And they just tied the game seconds before that, but it was disallowed because of an offsides call. So then they had to go score again to force overtime before winning in overtime. And Toronto gets so lazy in overtime. I've seen this over and over where like guys aren't back checking, they're not in the play. It's just like how they lose in overtime. It's never fun, especially when you give up a goal late in the game like that. But I like this Vegas team. I was there last week watching them play live. I mean, they've got so much firepower, and hopefully their defense and goaltending can match what they have offensively because they've got a lot going on there.
I agree with you. I think they're built for the playoffs. I think they've kind of taken a step back the regular season, but I think they're a team that's mature enough to ramp up as the playoffs start to approach, and no one's going to want to play them. I think it's going to make it really interesting in the West, the way teams are lined up right now, and with Colorado and Dallas kind of separating themselves from everybody, I don't think anybody wants to play Vegas. I would agree.
All right,
How good is Jack Eichel?
He's incredible.
Oh,
Sometimes he takes shifts off, though. I will watch, and but when he turns it on and when he has the puck on his stick, this guy is as dangerous as anybody. He's never had a 100-point season. I'd like to see him get there because he's a special player. He belongs in that category, right? He should have one of those types of seasons, get to 100 points. He's unbelievable.
yeah, he just drives the play. He looks effortless out there. He just controls the game. When he's on, everything goes through him.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
So that was a good, I guess, calculated risk to take on the contract of Thomas Hertl. Like, I mean, How do you look at that now? I think there was some criticism and some concern when they made the deal to bring Hurdle on board. He had the long-term contract. He's getting paid. He's under contract for a long time. I guess he can sustain it. I mean, he's a monster too. This guy's huge. You watch him play up close and see how big he is. He's unbelievable also.
Yeah, you think about their team that's big, that can skate, they're heavy. Not an easy team to play against. Just the style that Bruce Cassidy wants them to play with is very, it's heavy. It's a heavy brand of hockey, and I think he aligns with who they are and gives them the depth that they need when it matters most. And so, if I'm even Colorado, I would not want to. I think that's a tough matchup for them.
Really?
I do. Just like you mentioned it, the heaviness, the size, the speed, the way they protect the interior, the defenseman's willingness to eat pucks. It requires average goaltending, which they have, and as you mentioned, it is a question mark, but they don't need spectacular goaltending. They just need average.
Well, they got Aiden Hill back too, who's got some experience also. So, and he's proven that he can, win big games, and they can score with Colorado. I think that's the difference. Most teams can't.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? At Colorado, if you look at all the metrics, they're first in the league in goals for, first in goals against, and yet their power play has been enigmatic and hasn't been able to get on track. Which you look at who they're putting out there, and you wonder, like, how is that even possible? And can you imagine if they fix that part of it? But it just reminds me that they're how penalty kill is more important than power play. And their penalty kill is up there in the league. It's in the top 5, I believe. But, you don't want it to take away momentum, but the penalty kill for me, especially when it comes to the playoffs, is way more important.
Yeah, when I was there on New Year's Eve, they had given up more shorthanded goals than they had scored power play goals in the previous 5 or 10 games or whatever. So, I mean, they gave up some priorities too,
That's crazy.
I know.
It really is.
Dean Evison gets fired from Columbus. I think most people looked at that and hey, that's just it came out of nowhere. But you always connect the dots. Lawrence Gilman, who was in Vancouver for a long time, has a connection with the new coach. And sometimes that's all it takes. You just make a change. I mean, you look at Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo, you got to take them serious now too, Jamal. But Columbus first. Your thoughts on the coaching change there?
I just don't think it was a good fit. I think that his approach probably wore thin, and I think that he's very intense. I think when things aren't going well, he gets more intense. I think that kind of probably pushed the players away for whatever reason. I think that today's athletes are a little bit different in regard to how you have to deal with them, and I think that I think they needed a change. Obviously, it worked. They've been playing well. I think they've won the last 2 in a row. So, it's a team that was emotionally probably drained from last season, and I think that the approach of pushing them emotionally again was not going to work, and it wasn't sustainable. And I give them credit for making a difficult decision to try to salvage the season.
Yeah, so Rick Bowness, who they hire, Lawrence Gilman obviously had a connection with him. And, I would imagine, and Lawrence Gilman just got hired, right? So I would imagine maybe that helped move the ball a little bit and move the needle and get this done. I like Dean Evison, man. He's very intense, super intense. I mean, you see him punching his assistant coaches on the bench and whatnot. So, you just don't see that happen too often. I mean, last year he would have been in the running, right, for Jack Adams. I mean, they really made a push last year, had a lot of emotion behind them after some tragic, situations there with Johnny Hockey and whatnot. So they carried that emotion. They just couldn't carry it into this year. And I think when you have young players who you expect a lot from and they're not meeting expectations and everyone's underperforming pretty much on the roster, I think that's when you got to look at things and then make a change. So Rick Bowness, he'll be you talk about positivity and a player's coach. I think he falls in that category. So we'll see what happens there with Columbus,
Yeah, I think it's a good fit. And I think it also helps that Rick Bowness has been around forever, right?
Forever,
He came in. If you hire anybody else with a name with the even close to the resume, you're signing him to a 5-year deal, right?
Mhm.
Rick Bowness was willing to come in and see how it works and see if it's a good fit and finish up the season. I don't think any other coach that's out there is making that move to Columbus without some security.
100%. And that's the tough part. I think when you're an owner or a GM, Jamal, is handing out these 5-year contracts, because if I'm a coach, I don't go anywhere with less than a 5-year contract because they get fired so quickly. I mean, Bonus is a completely different situation. He's at the back nine of his coaching career. He knows that. He was semi-retired. He's fishing. He wasn't expecting to come back and coach. But you have that bug, and obviously you're gonna do it. I mean, he did our podcast about a year ago or so, but it was the first time in like 40 years or something like that he didn't attend an NHL training camp. I mean, this guy's been doing this his entire life. So, he's a guy who can get things turned around pretty quickly. But the coaching carousel's crazy. But then you bring on a guy and it doesn't work, and now you got to pay him when you fire him, Jamal.
Yeah, that's the tough part. You're hired to be fired, and it's you know what, they get paid very well, but it's got to be a difficult thing to have to keep moving like that.
Is coaching overrated, or I mean, does it make a massive difference? I mean, we see the initial change when a coach comes on board. The initial, you listen, teams will sometimes take off, obviously, and go on a run when you make a coaching change. Then it gets stale rather quickly. How much of a difference does it make? I mean, how many coaches are there truly that you say, hey, you just stick it out, thick or thin, and you just trust what they're doing and they've got full control over the situation?
I think coaches make a massive difference in our sport. Maybe not as much as basketball because they're able to like control all the important moments with all their timeouts. But I think that there's two types of coaches in my opinion. There's motivational type of coaches that are really good at tactical elements and the structure elements and the implementation of that in practice and getting players to understand how the team wants to play. And then there's coaches that have really good sense and feel in game, and it's not very often that they have both.
Mm-hmm.
But I think most times they surround themselves. They know that about themselves, so they surround themselves with some of the assistants that help, insulate and fix some of the deficiencies in their coaching. But I think it's really, really important, and I can't understate, the coaches that have had the great feel and the great sense. I think in game are the ones for me that are able to continue to win and find ways to win because of those adjustments.
Yeah, there's certain coaches. There's a reason why certain coaches win consistently. It's interesting because we see line changes and line combinations. They're constantly changing. Every period, every shift, different guys are playing with different players. I mean, hardly do you see players stick together for 2 or 3 games in a row. I guess some teams they do. But it's changed, right? The style of player that comes into the league nowadays, it's different than when you first came into the league, Jamal, and certainly long before you got into the National Hockey League, where you had your third and fourth line guys because they just weren't good enough to play with the best players on the team or play with top 6 guys or offensive players. Now, you got fourth line guys who could slide up the lineup and they look like they fit right in. Now, can they sustain that and do it over a long period of time? And in a lot of cases, they can't. But from a skating and skill standpoint, they can, right? That's why you see guys kind of move up and down.
It's very true. I think that it's still the case, in my opinion, where coaches like to go with pairs and they're willing to change that third person on the line.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that things are a lot more interchangeable than they've ever been. I think you hit it on the head in regard to the consistency. So a young player might come up, have success for 10 to 12 games, but then start to drop off because the shiny newness of it wears off a little bit. And so that's the real key, is like, to be a top 6, you've got to perform and produce on a nightly basis. And it's just not easy to do.
All right, so what do you make out of St. Louis right now? They're coming off of their best game of the season. I mean, they shut out the Carolina Hurricanes. I want to start with the goaltending because Joel Hofer, listen, he's among the leaders. I think he's tied for the league lead now in shutouts. He's got 4. There's a couple other goalies that have 4 shutouts as well. Are we at a point now where this guy's got to start 3 out of every 4, 2 out of every 3? I mean, back-to-backs obviously factor in, but this guy's playing at a real high level, and you'd have to be blind to say that he's not he's not outperforming Jordan Binnington right now. I'm not talking about Binnington's resume and what he's done throughout the course of his career. You don't take anything away from him, and you certainly don't assume that Binnington can't flip a switch and all of a sudden get back to the level that we've seen from him throughout the course of his career. But just right now, the confidence that Hofer's playing with and that he's given the rest of the team, you have to just ride it, don't you?
You do. I think if you don't, you're going to have players looking over at you, questioning your decision making and your feel and your understanding of where they are. And I think that um I would think that I would expect that Bitter would not take that well, and that's okay. I think that's who he is and makes him such a great competitor. And I think it'll help him dig in and recalibrate his game. But I think that you would be doing a disservice to the group if you don't lean on Hofer for as well as he's playing. And there's no better example, in my opinion, than looking at the goals saved above the expected for each goalie. And I did take a look at it the other day, and I'm not going to get the numbers perfectly right, but I believe Binner was around 32nd last season, and he's like in 82 this year. What does that stat tell you? It tells you, are the goalies making the saves they're supposed to make relative to the quality that they're seeing? And so when that happens emotionally, when that number is skewed and not in favor, it is very dejecting on this is how it happens in real life. So that's what that happens, how that happens, it comes to fruition in a game is I'm on the bench, our goalie lets in a soft goal. Our goalie lets in a goal he should have saved. That emotional lapse that happens, it affects how you play as a team. So the fact that the Blues are having trouble scoring goals, well, they're not playing on their toes. They're not willing to take risks. They're not willing, and that's directly related to the goaltending. And it isn't all just we have to fix our defense, we have to fix our team play. It starts for me with the goaltending. And once that part is fixed, then you could properly evaluate what you need to perhaps change structurally or change the pieces as in players. But until that piece is fixed, which hopefully Hofer goes on a little bit of a run, then you'll be able to properly evaluate where you are as a group. Because as much as we separate goaltending from defense, they're part of the defense, right?
Yep.
So your goalie has to be able to provide proper goaltending, good enough goaltending to win hockey games. And when it doesn't, and that stat to me is a glaring example of where the Blues have been this season in regard to the goaltending they've been getting.
Yeah. I mean, show me a great goaltender. You'll probably the defense is certainly going to look cover up a lot of the holes that maybe are there that you just don't see, because the goaltending is obviously cleaning it up and the backing up the maybe the mistakes and covering some of those up. But Hofer's a guy like, listen, I agree with those who would say, well, he's never had to put a team on his back, play in high pressured situations down the stretch where you have to win, you're chasing a playoff spot. His demeanor, if you get to know this guy, like he doesn't change. He never gets too high. He never gets too low. He's the same guy. He's had success at every level he's been at, including the World Juniors and representing his country and doing all of that. So I don't think that's really going to be an issue for him in the event that he becomes the guy, Jamal, and he's got to play in high pressured situations. Every game's a high pressured situation now.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that why you have to find out?
Mhm.
Like, maybe there's an opportunity for him to become that guy, and this is the opportunity that he needed. And if that's the case, then maybe we're having a different conversation at the end of the season about goaltending. But I think that you hit it on the head. I think it's inevitable. It's expected from the players. I can assure you of that. As much as they love and want and know that the resume that Binner has, it doesn't mean it's forever, but I think that you have to ride Hofer for as well as he's playing right now.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens in the Olympics. And maybe Binnington plays great and comes back with a ton of confidence and does what he did last year. How much concern do you think there is for Canada right now with him? Not just goaltending, but with him specifically, because that is the elephant in the room. They got to play him and find out, right? I don't see him going there and not playing. Like, he's going to play. And how much of a concern do you think that is in reality?
I think it's not a concern. The reason why I say that is because I watched Washington play last night, and Thompson was unbelievable. And so I think you hit it correctly. What's going to happen is it's a longer tournament than Four Nations, right? So they'll both share the beginning part. I don't know what the plan is, but my assumption is they'll share the first 4 games, and then they'll make a determination on who they're going to ride and who they're going to go with. And I think it's up for grabs. I think that just because Thompson has had a better season, I think they're coming to the table equal because of the fact that Binner won Four Nations and has played so well on that stage. I think he comes in equal. Whereas last year, if he came in, he would have had the edge. I think they come in equal, and their play will determine who ends up being the guy in the net. I think there is some concern, but I think they're confident in Thompson that he could do it if he is, in fact, if Binner is playing not playing his best.
Yeah, and they should have confidence in him the way that he's played. Although it could be a different animal, though, Jamal, for Logan Thompson. He's never really been on that stage either. So how he handles that, I guess, remains to be seen, but there's no reason to assume that he won't be able to handle it.
Yeah, everybody's got to have their first opportunity. It's like, how do you get experience without going through it? So, there was a time when Binner didn't have that experience, and then he did it. So I think Thompson's earned that right and that opportunity to see if he can do it.
All right, so the Blues have to move forward now without Robert Thomas. He's going to miss at least a couple of weeks. He's got that lower body injury that he sustained before he face planted against Utah. I know some people were assuming it was from that, but it's not. It was before that when he suffered the injury. So at least 2 weeks. It's always interesting how a team plays without some of their best players in the lineup, and maybe how they just kind of dumb it down and simplify it a little bit. We saw that last game against Carolina. 3-0 shutout. No Robert Thomas, no Philip Broberg. I think Broberg's going to play tonight against Tampa Bay. He should be back in there tonight against the Lightning, just based off of how he looked and felt yesterday. So assuming they get him back, that'll be a positive. But moving forward without Robert Thomas, how do you look at that for the Blues?
Not going to be easy. They're going to have to have guys step up. I mean, it's more opportunity for some of the young guys that have been called up, and more opportunity for guys to elevate in the lineup. You're not going to replace a Robert Thomas. He's your best player. You've got to do it by committee. And I think they showed how they could do that and have success against a really good team, a structured team in Carolina. And it's just been an unfortunate part of the season for the Blues in regard to having key players going out. And this is just another example of that for this group, that they're going to have to find a way against that team. I believe Tampa's won 11 in a row.
11.
So
they're due.
The young kids say they're on a heater.
Yeah.
Hopefully they went out last night, and they'll be a little bit foggy today.
Well, they're due, and they don't have Braden Point, obviously, who's hurt. Hedman's been hurt, so the Blues will luck out from that standpoint, that you're not going to have Braden Point in the lineup, who obviously is one of their better players, a great player. But, it's funny, going back to the Carolina game, just what we were talking about before. Hofer was so good in that game, right? So everyone's like, oh, that was the best game of the season. But, again, you get saves from your goaltender. It makes everything else look prettier.
That's it. And so, hopefully you can keep her going. But you're right. I think, that's the biggest thing, is you don't want to overreact to where you are as a group until you start getting the goaltending you expected. And then you could properly evaluate. And then the sample size may end up only being 20 games at the end of the season, where they're properly able to evaluate what they like and don't like about their group going forward. But it starts with good goaltending. And I think that once they get that, they'll be able to actually fix the hold, and because you don't want to overreact, right? So how much is it our defensive structure? Do we change our structure and our system because we're giving up so many goals? Or is it, let's get the goaltending in order, and then we could properly evaluate.
Yeah. And again, in the game against Carolina, you get a shorthanded goal, you get a power play goal. Dvorsky scores. He gets his 7th goal of the season. He hasn't had too many goals like that close to the net. We've seen his one-timer and his ability to shoot the puck, but to get in that scoring area was a nice play all around. So it's good to see him score. Otto Stenberg is coming up on this edition of Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. What are your thoughts on this young kid? Because he's not going anywhere, Jamal. It's going to be interesting when they do get healthy and what that lineup looks like, because Dvorsky's here. You've got Stenberg here. You've got options to send him down just in case you need to free up a roster spot. But, I don't know what it means for, the guys like Robbie Fabry and some of these guys, Matthew Joseph, some of these guys who are kind of on the fringe right now. And they may be losing some spots to some of these young kids that look like they're here to stay.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the nice thing about his game is that there's a maturity to his game. There's a predictability to it. It's a simple game, and I think that you're right. When young guys come in and they continue to perform, they push guys out, and that makes for difficult decisions. But when the team is underperforming, as the Blues have this season, that's what happens, right? You take jobs, and injuries give guys opportunities. Lack of performance gives guys opportunities, and get good on him for and good on for the American League affiliate team making sure those players are ready, and some credit has to go there as well to the staff there that's making sure that these players are ready for their opportunity, because when they've come up, they have been ready.
Yeah. Steve Konowalchuk, man, he's been on the show before. Give him a shout out, because he is.
Yes.
They're developing the players down there. I mean, Dvorsky comes up and looks like he can fit in right away, and he's done a good job. But Stenberg, I think, is a little more of a surprise. Dvorsky was a 10th overall pick, and I know Stenberg was a first-round pick, but I don't think anybody expected Stenberg to come up and be the guy that's on the ice, closing out games, getting penalty kill time, and just looking like he's so responsible. Like he plays such a natural two-way game. This guy's going to be really good, Jamal.
I know, that's what I was saying. Is a mature game to me is someone that's playing the game the right way, right? Doesn't cheat the game, plays on the right side of the puck, reads the game well. It's something where it doesn't always jump off the page, but he's always in the right spots. And that to me is a. And some guys are better in the NHL than they are in the minors.
He's an example of that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's that predictability to their game and the understanding of the game that's on a higher level that helps him, show his value, and good on for the coaching staff and Monty for putting him in those situations to help him showcase those talents.
What'd you think of the Broberg contract extension?
Well deserved. This is a guy I really like him. I think that he's shown he can play in all situations. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. But you took a risk, you took a chance, and it certainly paid off, and making the Oilers look silly. And I think that you gotta really like his game. I think that he's proven it with the Blues about what he can do, and I think that they had the perfect approach for him. It's the perfect fit for him to help him grow his game, and it's pretty nice that they found their number two.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. He could be the number one eventually. I mean,
That's right.
I mean, geez, paying him like a number one. People on the outside, they don't understand because they just don't watch the Blues. I mean, I got more text messages from people outside of St. Louis are like, "What? He's got 12 points." I mean, it's not always about points, right? I mean, sometimes it's about how you impact the game and how many minutes you play and who you're going up against and how you control the play. With your skating, he's got a great stick. He can defend too. Hey, the next step for him, Jamal, is just to establish the ability to finish on some of these grade A offensive chances that he routinely gets. You want to see him put some of these away, and that would make his numbers look a little more impressive.
Yeah, I think that not defenders. There's different types of defense. I mean, not all of the defense are going to have 80 points. Like you could still be the most important defenseman. So, you need guys who can defend. You need guys who can skate and play against those top players. And so they don't, the best defensemen in the league don't always put up the biggest numbers. The best example I could think of is who's my favorite defenseman in Carolina, who's been hurt a little bit.
Slavin.
Yeah. There's a great example. He's not a big point guy, but I think when you play against Carolina, you're circling his name, and you realize as an offensive player that's not going to be an easy night.
Jacob Slavin, he's been on the podcast. Great guy. I I was walking through the concourse during the game the other night. He didn't play against St. Louis, and he's just like walking around the concourse. I'm like, "What are you doing? You looking for the concession stand or what?" It's like he's a really, really good kid too, but I don't think he's playing on some of these back-to-backs in some situations. He's been dealing with some injuries, and hopefully he can get healthy and perform the way that he did in the Four Nations last year. Before we let a couple more things with Jamal Mayers. Who would you move? If you're Doug Armstrong, what are you looking to do with the trade deadline?
Oh, that's a tough situation. I think expiring contracts got to go. I think veterans that are underperformed, that you've realized that younger players having the opportunity to steal their jobs, got to go. I think you've got to shed a lot of those things, and then also look to make hockey trades. You've got to improve your bottom six, whether that's a younger player that's shown he can fit in that situation, or you've got to go out in the market and overpay to get those guys. But if you want to fix this and get back into the playoffs as quickly as possible, you're going to have to reshape and retool this group and make them quicker in the bottom six, and perhaps add a top six forward, which won't be easy to do.
Okay, so and that's a lot to digest because underperforming veterans, yeah, I get that. But what about the guys that aren't underperforming, like a Justin Falk, for example? It's got another year left on his deal. Is it just
I would move
automatic
him.
you move on from him?
I would move him. I don't think you're going to get. He's got 11 goals. He's having a great season offensively. I don't think his stock will be much higher
Yeah.
than it is right now. And I think if you don't think he's going to be here in year 4 of retooling this, then you have to move him.
What about the Thomases and the Kyrus? I mean, these names are constantly being mentioned, Jamal, as you know. You can't go a full season without hearing the name Jordan Kyrou. And now people are throwing out Robert Thomas, which I just don't see happening. I mean, a team would really have to be willing to unload a ton. And now you're looking to replace Robert Thomas if you move on from him. I think you need to put better players around him, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a passer. He should have more assists than he does if guys would finish at a higher level. And I know he hasn't played a perfect game, and you expect more and you want more, but you've seen it from him before. But if you could find some elite scorers to put around him, then he's exactly what you want on your team if you have guys that can put the puck in the net.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think to me, Robert Thomas, is here to stay. I think Jordan Kyrou, it might be the right time for him to move on. I think that he's been a very polarizing type of player. I think he's had some amazing seasons here with the Blues. I think this is where he came out of his shell and really showed who he could be. And sometimes you just need a fresh start. And I think, in my opinion, I think for him and for the organization, provided they can get the right value, I would think if it might be time for him to move on, and he might not feel that way, not because this is the only place he's known, but hopefully in hindsight that proves to be the case. He's done a great job here as a Blue, but to me, I think that's something that would look to make the most sense is to move on.
I was getting some text messages yesterday from some people saying, "Hey, I'm hearing Jordan Kyrou has been asked to waive his no trade to go to Detroit," and they were very specific with where he was asked to move to. But I looked into it and was told that that's not true. So we'll see how that plays out with Kyrou, and I would think in the past that moving on would not be something he'd be interested in doing. But you just never know what's going on through his mind. He's been a healthy scratch this season. The puck's not going in. He's kind of, I think, internally feels like he's the scapegoat a lot of times. But he's had some great moments here, too, and things can change very, very quickly. He could score a goal tonight and all of a sudden go on an absolute tear and just change everybody's opinion.
Well, I think, honestly, I don't think whatever he does matters. I know that sounds terrible, but I think you gotta have to make that decision that it's just the right thing to do as an organization. And you can't just keep following the wave of his performance on what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to make the decision that it's just time. And I think if he does go on a heater, perfect. It increases the value. I think that decision to me is made notwithstanding his performance. I think that decision is more a decision as an organization without the emotion. Because I think if you if you ride the wave of his performance, which let's say it goes up and he scores 10 goals in the next 8 games, then now you're making that an emotional decision.
Okay.
I think you got to make it a non-emotional decision, and be advised from your trusted group to make that decision outside of his performance.
I don't see the captain, Braden Shen, going anywhere, Jamal. That's just my opinion. I don't think he wants to leave, number one. And number two, I mean, he's really important to this team, though. I mean, the overall culture of the team. We just had the Hall of Fame night. I want to get your take on that. But, I mean, it's like you got to have some of these guys around, right? If you're going to bring in all these new players, find me a better player to have around for them to kind of pass on the culture that's been established to the next wave of players that come in. And, you see them fighting and all that, but it's not just that. I just think you move on from him. I just think that creates such a big hole in terms of what you're looking to accomplish. And I don't think he wants to go. He just had another baby. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that one will be really interesting to me. I think that, I think what's going to happen, my sense is that he's going to be very sought after at the deadline. And what happens is there's going to be a decision he's going to have to make under pressure. And the decision that he's going to have to make under pressure may influence his decision on whether he wants to stay or not. Because from my experience, and I remember the Dougie Waite situation, it doesn't matter if you have a no trade. It doesn't matter if you want to stay. Once the team wants to move on from you, it's very difficult to stay.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean is what that pressure starts to mount at the deadline, and the team is saying, we have a deal in place to move you to so-and-so. What would you like to do? When you sit back and realize the team wants to move on, most times that's why I always say a no trade or no movement doesn't mean you're not getting moved. It gives you some say in where you're going, because no one wants to stay where they're not wanted.
Yeah. No, I got you. And Dougie Waite's situation a little bit different, because they were telling him, hey, listen, then you're just not going to play. You're going to be up in the press box and basically be a healthy scratch.
Oh, that was just leverage. That was just that would be ridiculous to do to him. But I think that was just more to egg him along, push him along, because my understanding is they gave him the option and he said, no, I want to stay. And then they said that. So,
correct.
I was actually at his house when all that was going down. It was pretty crazy. But and another great reminder that it's a business, and that regardless of how important you are, that it all happens to everyone at some point.
Yeah, because he said no, and then they came back to him again. John Davidson and Larry Plow, I remember that very well. I remember calling Chris Pronger and being like, Dougie Waite's coming to Anaheim for Andy McDonald. And he said, yeah, good one. He hung up the phone. He's said no chance. And then called me back. He goes, oh, what do you know? You're right, actually. They are trading Andy McDonald for Dougie Waite, which they had some payroll situations going on there in Anaheim. Real quick, Alexander Steen, Barrett Jackman, a guy who obviously, both those guys very well. Kelly Chase going into the Blues Hall of Fame for the True Blue Award. We missed you there, Jamal. You were supposed to be at the table I was sitting at. I didn't see you. We would have loved to have you there. Obviously, you're working, doing stuff. But just a great night all around to celebrate all of these guys who you've got a relationship with.
Yeah, and all those guys you mentioned, so well deserving. I happened to be with Jax in San Jose because he was the mentor on the dad strip for Revo. So it made me feel even older to see Jax as a mentor. But you know what? He's meant so much, not only to the Blues and the city, and for who he is as a person and player, and just a fantastic example of what a Blue is all about. And happy for him and all that he's accomplished. And I owe him a bottle of wine and a dinner for not being there, but I had to do my hit. The late game with the Avalanche messed me up, so there's no avoiding it. So I had to miss on that. But an amazing evening I heard, and I was at Chaser's prayer service that morning, so I got a chance to see him and congratulate him as well. So just an amazing night, and I thought Cam stole the show though with his jokes. Did he have those things prepared and written down, or what? That was pretty good. Those clips I heard from him.
Listen, I've heard him use the same speech, but in different ways. Like when we bring on all these former New Jersey Devils, that's what he says to the New Jersey Devils. You brought us down when we had to be down. You pumped us up when we had to pump us up. But And we've talked about a ton on the all these guys who came up with the Blues and how they're all Stanley Cup winners. So, but it was great, and we did have a very tough table. A lot of fighters, a lot of tough guys at that table, Jamal.
I
So
like that line where he says I'm 4 for 5.
5 for 6 or whatever he said. Yeah,
Or 5 for 6.
I know. I love the fact that Jax went to the mentors trip, as you mentioned. And it's interesting because I believe Jaden Schwartz invited Alexander Steen to the Seattle mentors trip a while ago, and I don't think they could make their schedules work. It just couldn't work out. But this kind of shows you what these guys meant to, that generation of blues player,
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think that all those things are paid forward, right? You think about my mentors in regard to being in my career, whether it was Jeff Courtnall, Mike Keane, Scott Mellenby, Al McInnes, those types of guys that you end up passing on to, Luke Shannon, hopefully so many different other guys, young guys that I got to play with, and they're doing the same thing now. It just keeps, going forward, and that's the beauty of our sport and the quality of people that are involved in our game. Are we allowed to swear on this podcast?
Sure, of course you can.
Yeah, like they always say, there's not many assholes in hockey, and most of them find a way to weed themselves out at some point. So that's why we all love the sport, and a lot of great people that understand what it's all about.
All right, so who brings you to Hockey Sense? Brought to you by First Community.
Yeah, Barlino's is one of them. So Barlino's has 5 restaurants: Barlino's South, Barlino's Austria, Chris's Pancake and Dining, Chris's at the Docket, Barlino's Twin Oaks, which is my favorite. They forge many lasting relationships with their customers. Their family model: cook good food, serve plenty. 50 plus years in business, only 2 places to dine: at home or at one of Barlino's family of restaurants.
Perfect.
How about our friends at Dobbs? You think about, we've had a pretty mild winter, been very lucky in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Being here in Detroit, it is an absolute mess out there with all the snow. But you know what? If you have a car, it doesn't matter what you drive, a car, light truck, van, SUV, hybrid, EV, Dobbs has a team of experienced tire technicians and ASC certified associates to service them all. They make sure they take care of you. They have over 43 store locations. They're offering winter tire deals. Get in there. You can save a ton of money on Cooper, Continental, BF Goodrich. Doesn't matter what you drive. And you know what? Go to Dobbs.com for more, because they have all the information there, and you can make sure you take care of yourself. I know your wife keeps running into the curbs, destroying tires, destroying rims. Hopefully you got the rim insurance on her car, but they'll take care of you, as you know, and they make sure that you're in and out. They get you in, up, out. How does that work?
In, out, fixed out.
Yeah, just like that. And then finally, you got my friends at Spas and More, their local master spa dealer with 2 locations, Sunset Hills and Overland Park, Kansas City. Mike Leahy's the owner of Spas and More. They're a hot tub and swim. They use the Master Spas, which is the largest U.S.-based manufacturer. They're located in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They also do the chili goat tubs, the Michael Phelps tubs, the cold tubs. Can't wait to get mine. Angie Hess, Mike's daughter, runs the Sunset location. Sunset Hills. Spas and More offers quality hot tubs, swim spas, cold tubs, infrared saunas for all of your wellness and relaxation needs. Turn your backyard into an oasis of your dreams with a master spa from Spas and More. Spas and More located at 12957 Gravois Road in Sunset Hills, where we put the
in spa. All right, Jammer, safe travels back to St. Louis. Enjoy the father-daughter dance, and we'll catch up very soon.
All right, buddy. Take care. Thanks.
See you later, Jammer. That's Jamal Mayers. Great stuff with him today here on Hockey Sense. All right, First Community. If you're ready to buy a home, you need that home loan. But what's the best kind of home loan? Most people would say when a 30-year term to keep their payment affordable, plus a great rate and a low closing cost, that's what you're looking for. First Community has that loan. The Members Best loan has a rate of 6% for a 30-year term. And at First Community, there's no fee for the application, processing, or closing of your home loan. Apply today for our Members Best loan. Terms and conditions apply, so call toll-free. 1-888-642-7969. 888-642-7969 to learn more. Blue Note Roofing, 314-920-5713. Call David Novak today. Get that estimate that you're looking for. They work with all the major insurance companies. Nobody does roofing, siders, gutters, soffit, fascia like our boy David Novak with Blue Note Roofing. You see the sign right over my shoulder. 314-920-5713. We appreciate everyone for watching on YouTube, by the way. Be sure to subscribe. Shoot us a comment. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. And we appreciate everybody's support that they give us here on Hockey Sense. Lordo's Diamonds I mean, these guys have just been flat out getting it done for almost 70 years. You talk about Lordo's Diamonds, Mike and Jimmy Lordo, Pat, everybody over there. They got the best selection of engagement rings if you're looking to pop the question this Valentine's Day. And no better time to pop the question. Do it with an engagement ring from Lordo's Diamonds. They got the best selection of engagement rings anywhere. Stop on in right there in the heart of Ladue. You can always call them 314-432-8008. 314-432-8008 for Lordo's Diamonds. LordosDiamonds.com. We appreciate everybody for joining us on this edition of Hockey Sense. All the support you continue to give us. You know we love that. Kirkwood Fence, everybody, Frontenac Detailing, all our great sponsors that we have lined up each and every week here on Hockey Sense. We couldn't do it without you. I'm Andy Strickland. Blues and Lightning tonight. If you're listening to it after the Lightning game, listen, we're not going to have a ton of reaction from it, but obviously from that game. But lots of good stuff here on this edition of Hockey Sense. Before we hit the road tomorrow, we're off to Edmonton, then Winnipeg, then Dallas, and we'll have another edition of Hockey Sense for you next week here from the Half Coast Studios with Aiden and everybody else on the great team with Half Coast Studios. All right, I'm Andy Strickland, reminding you to keep your head up and your stick on the ice. We'll do it again next week. As always, we go year-round. It's our weekly tradition, Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. Have a great weekend, everybody.